What if I told you there's a food that's both ancient and, believe it or not, futuristic? A single grain that can help fight climate change, tackle malnutrition, and empower farmers, all at the same time? Well, today we're talking about millets. These tiny but mighty supergrains are making a massive comeback in India. Let's get into how it's all happening.
Just look at this. On one side, you've got a traditional dosa, a staple that's been around for generations. And on the other, modern bajra fusilli pasta. The wild part is, they're both made from millets. It just shows you what an incredible transformation we're talking about. This isn't just about food. It's a whole story of revival, innovation, and rediscovery.
So that's the big question, right? How did a grain that was nearly forgotten manage to completely reposition itself as a solution for some of our world's biggest challenges? Well, the answer is this fascinating mix of government policy, hard science, and amazing community action.
To really appreciate the comeback, we first have to understand the decline. For decades, millets were basically an agricultural afterthought. So let's take a look at why this supergrain got left behind in the first place.
So what exactly are millets? They're this diverse group of grains like jawar, bajra, and ragi, and they're called nutri-cereals for a very good reason. These things can thrive in tough, dry conditions where other crops would just fail. Plus, they have these deep cultural roots, often being the food of choice during traditional fasts or vrat because of their purity and energy. And wow, the nutritional punch these tiny grains pack is just incredible. They are an absolute powerhouse of benefits, from being naturally gluten-free to helping manage chronic conditions like diabetes. This really isn't just a grain. It's like a complete food system all by itself.
But, and this is the crazy part, despite all these amazing benefits, the amount of land used for growing major millets in India was basically cut in half in just 50 years. So, what on earth went wrong?
It was a perfect storm, really. People's tastes changed, and processing them, it was backbreaking, super laborious work, especially for women. On top of that, government policies were favoring other cereals, so farmers naturally just followed the economics and moved on. The supergrain pretty much became an afterthought. But then, the tide really started to turn. This revival didn't just happen by accident, not at all. It was sparked by a very deliberate, high-level mission to pull millets back from the brink.
You can see the momentum started to build back in 2018, when India officially branded them Nutri-cereals. That led to policy changes that made it easier for the government to buy and distribute them. But the real masterstroke? Getting the entire world on board, with the UN declaring 2023 the International Year of Millets, all at India's request.
Now, that national push was absolutely crucial, no doubt about it. But the real magic, the stuff that was really changing things, was happening at the state level, with some incredible ground-up initiatives.
Just take the Odisha Millets mission. This wasn't just about growing more grain. It was about creating a whole new ecosystem around it. And the results? They speak for themselves. A threefold increase in the value of produce for farming households. This model is so successful, it's now being studied by other states and even by Cambridge University.
Over in Haryana, they tackled the biggest fear for any farmer: price crashes. Their Bhavantar Bharpay Yojana is basically an insurance policy. It guarantees a fair price by promising to pay the difference if the market price drops. It just takes the risk out of growing millets, and that encourages way more farmers to plant them.
And this is why all of this matters so much. Look at these numbers from Telangana. The Jiri Poshanana program, which introduced millets into kids' diets, led to these dramatic health improvements. That 41% drop in anemia, that isn't just a statistic. It's a public health victory that's literally changing lives.
Okay, so policy and community action are one part of the story. The other part is this amazing technological revolution that's making millets way easier to grow, to process, and of course to eat.
You can see the huge leap forward right here. On one side, you have the beautiful, traditional practice of community seed banking. And on the other, you have a modern, super efficient puffing machine. It's this incredible blend of preserving heritage while embracing new technology that really defines this whole millet revival.
And the innovation, it starts right at the seed level. Scientists have been working for decades to develop better, stronger varieties. This research shows clear improvements in key things like the size of the grain head and the weight of the seeds, which all leads to much higher yields for farmers. And this is where it gets really exciting for us, the consumers. Forget just thinking about rotis and porridge. entrepreneurs are creating this unbelievable array of new products. We're talking millet pasta, millet ice cream, puffed snacks, even plant-based meat substitutes, and edible food wrappers. Millets are officially cool now.
This right here illustrates maybe the single biggest technological game changer in the whole story. The sheer drudgery of processing was such a huge barrier. What once took a woman over 2 hours of hard physical labor to process just 1 kilogram can now be done by a machine in about a minute. That is an incredible leap.
So what does this all add up to? Well, the impact of this revolution is profound. It's touching everything from the money in a farmer's pocket all the way to global food security.
The economic impact is just staggering. In just one district, farmers saw their net income from millets multiply 9 times over in just 7 years. This is truly life-changing money that creates real, tangible opportunity.
And it goes so far beyond economics. This quote really gets to the heart of the social impact. Programs like community seed banks are reestablishing women's autonomy and control over the most critical part of the entire food chain, the seed itself. It's about empowerment, it's about independence, and it's about preserving priceless traditional knowledge.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? The story of India's millet revival seems to suggest that sometimes the most innovative solutions aren't brand new inventions at all, but the rediscovery and reimagining of the wisdom we already have. It really seems the humble millet grain holds some big lessons for us all.